What it do? Bedsome crew. Hey man, listen, today I am here to talk about UFC 318. Now, obviously, at the end of this month, we've got International Fight Week, Charles do Bronx Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria. But the next pay-per-view after that in July, we got the BMF title fight between Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier. And this is a fight that I was very vocal saying I think it's kind of dumb. I think that Dustin's retirement should be the trilogy with Gaethje. I just feel like that makes a lot more sense than a trilogy with someone he already beat twice. You know, and we've got Max coming up to 155 permanently. I want to see Max versus Charles Oliveira too. I want to see Max Holloway against some of these other names at 155 that he hasn't fought twice already. But it's grown on me, right? Like, I like the respect aspect. I like the fact that it's going to be an entertaining fight. I have no problem with this main event. I'm here to tell you right now, I have a problem with this main card, bro. Are you fucking serious that Marvin Vtori, Apex legend Marvin Vtori, and Brendan All-In Allen are the co-main event of a pay-per-view in 2025? You seriously expect people, not me, you expect people to pay hard-earned money? What's on the undercard? Dude, sit down, watch this fucking Marvin Vtori fight with me, dude. Come on, man. The fucking featured fight of the card, I'm pretty sure, is Neil Magny versus Gunnar Nelson, or Dan Eay versus Patricio Pitbull. No disrespect to the man of Patricio Pitbull. This guy's 40 years old coming off a loss. He's unranked in the UFC. He's a Bellator champion. Featured fight of the fucking pay-per-view is Dan Eay, perennial jobber and gatekeeper at 145, whose biggest achievement is being ranked number 12 at one point and then losing to Calvin Kattar. This guy is the featured fight of this pay-per-view. I think this card needs more, and I'm just here to rant about why I think this is kind of ridiculous for the retirement of Dustin Poirier. I'm also going to give you some early predictions because there's 12 fights on this pay-per-view card. It's like a month away. I don't think we're getting anything else added to this. And that to me is kind of lame because, like I said, people are paying hard-earned money for this fucking fight. And I'm all in understanding that casual fans, they see Holloway versus Poirier, they might not even know that they fought already. You know what I mean? Like, unless you have the Poirier 3 on the thing, some of these motherfuckers might be like, who is Poirier 3, bro? You know what I mean? We've got literal analysts covering the sport. Like on the Jackson podcast, I saw Luke Rockhold and fucking Bear and Rampage talking about, oh, dude, Wonderboy versus Luke would be a great fight. They haven't fought before. So I understand that people may not realize we've already seen this fucking fight not that long ago, back in 2019. But is this really good enough of a fight? Such a badass fight. Oh my god, man. Poirier Holloway, dude. What a fucking banger, man. Certified violence, dude. It is a great fight. But does this carry a pay-per-view enough where we can get Marvin Vtori as the co-main event? Fuck no. I remember even when McGregor was around, main eventing, they would dare to put fucking Holly Holm as the co-main event. Even that, I'm like, okay, at least Holly Holm is ranked top 5 in her division. Marvin Vtori, Brendan Allen, co-main event. Are you fucking serious, dude? Are you seriously trying to tell me that the best you could do for Dustin Poirier's last dance, bro's shining bright like a diamond in the last dance, the best you can do is blockhead WrestleMania main event, 2 fucking jobbers ranked in like the top 14 of the division, Dan Eay, gatekeeper, versus Patricio Pitbull, unranked Bellator random. Adam Fugit on the fucking main card. The next best fights are fucking Ikram Aliskerov, Bruno Ferreira. Great fight. Can't wait to watch that one. And Kyler Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. Again, great fight. Jimmy the Brute Crude on the fucking card. What a banger. These are all great prelims. These do not belong on the main card of a pay-per-view worth $80. And again, the co-main event, I can't stress to you enough, it is literally fucking Marvin Vtori. I don't know what else to say about that besides just the name, because come on, man. Are you seriously telling me we can't put anything else on the card, man? Dude, people are going to pay to see Dustin versus Max, man. They don't care what else is on the card. Look at this fucking card, man. Get fucking Carly Judice out of here. 4-2. That's literally my record. Get Carly Judice out of here, okay? Get fucking Francisco Prado out of here. Varetnikov. Get these jobbers off the fucking card. Add some more ranked fights because it's a fucking pay-per-view that people pay money to see. Let's get fucking Gamrod on here because he's Poirier's best mate. Let's get him on there versus BSD. Fuck it. Let's get a co-main event of like Diego Lopez versus Gene Silva. If that Noche card is moved now and, you know, Yair Rodriguez is refusing to fight Diego Lopez, okay, bro, you don't have to fight Lopez. That's fair. Fight Movsar Evloev in the main event of UFC Noche. Or, if you want a big fight and you don't want to fight Lopez, Yair Rodriguez versus Gene Silva in the co-main event of this. I would accept that. At least that is a title elimination type bout. The main event's not even a title eliminator. That's the last thing I'm going to say about this card. The audacity to think that this is just a good enough fight that you can just do whatever you want on the undercard. Yeah, who gives a fuck, dude? The fans will just fucking pay for it anyways, dude. They don't give a fuck. This isn't even a title elimination bout. If Dustin Poirier wins, he's either retiring or maybe he does get a title shot. And if Max Holloway wins, I'm sorry, but you got slimed out by Ilia Topuria. I don't think you're getting a title shot straight away. I do think that beating Dustin and Justin at 155, Max Holloway should be fighting Charles Oliveira next and then getting a title shot, right? That to me makes a lot of sense. You go on a 2-fight win streak against Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira, or, you know, Dustin Poirier, maybe you beat Arman Sarukian or something like that, or you destroy Dan Hooker. Okay, now we're talking about Max Holloway title fight. But just beating Dustin Poirier, and your option is probably going to be a rematch against Ilia Topuria. I don't think the UFC will accept that. I think the UFC would rather do Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett and give him a fucking world tour. And give him a main event of International Fight Week next year. Or like December 2025. The main event, Ilia versus Paddy. So regardless of what happens in this main event, I don't think this is a title elimination bout. I don't think the BMF belt is this big draw that people are like, oh my god, dude, I want to see Dan Hooker next for the BMF belt. Like, I don't think that's going to headline a pay-per-view. So this main event to me is not big enough to where you can put complete fucking jobbers on the main card of a pay-per-view. I don't think Marvin Vtori versus Brendan Allen, even though I do find that very entertaining, that is not a co-main event of a pay-per-view. That's a borderline featured fight, more like an opener of a fucking main card, if I'm being honest. And the saddest part is, dude, yes, Max versus Dustin's a great fight, and I'm going to talk about what I think of that matchup in a second, but for the people that try and defend this shit, that are like, dude, why are you fucking always complaining, man? Because the UFC genuinely does not care or try. Because of people like you, who will just buy anything. Who will go in the comments when Kamaru Usman wins one fight. Dude, give him a title shot, man. Dude, just do Usman versus JDM, dude. That's money, bro. Usman versus Islam, dude. That's a big fight, man. What about the sport aspect of this doesn't make sense to you? And even the people that try, dude, why are you complaining, man? It's a great fight. It is a great fight. You can make a great fight on any fucking card. The entire point of a pay-per-view is this is the biggest fight card of the month, man. This ain't your fucking average fight night, dude. You're getting ranked names. You're getting title fights. You're getting big sellout arenas. This is a stacked fight night. I'm just going to keep it a stack, bro. This is a stacked fight night card. If this was a fight night event, I would be saying great card, perfect. Look, maybe missing a co-main event. But even then, I would be happy with this. But this is a full-blown pay-per-view event. This ain't McGregor. This ain't Khabib. You don't get to put Brendan Allen in the co-main event of a pay-per-view, and I let that shit slide. If you're defending this, I wish you the best in life. You're literally a fucking bot. You are literally a fucking programmed NPC bot. If you are looking at this card, dude, this is a freaking great card, man. Dude, I'm so excited for freaking Neil Magny, Gunnar Nelson, man. What a banger, dude. Shut the fuck up, all right? Let's talk about this card, though, because, like I said, there's 12 fights. We're a month away. I don't think we're getting another big fight added to it. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's looking like this is the pay-per-view that we're getting. So I'm going to quickly give my early predictions for the top 3 fights of this card. And if anything else gets added, it will be talked about later when we get to the full card predictions next month when we're talking about this card. Main event, we got Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. Hey, listen, it is what it is, brother. Listen, it is what it is, but it's the last dance, brother. Hey, listen, brother, we're going to send him off, brother. I'm picking Max Holloway, and the more I think about this fight, for whatever reason, when I have my premonitions, and my premonitions are rarely wrong. I'm just going to be honest with myself. I'm going to try and be humble here, but my premonitions are usually never wrong, okay? I think Max Holloway wins this fight. I said that when this got announced. I think that Max Holloway has a speed advantage over Dustin Poirier at this point in time. He is bulked up to be a 155 contender permanently, which most people can agree when you rewatch their second fight. It's very evident that Max took that fight on relatively short notice. I'm not talking like 1 week's notice, but not really with the intention of moving up to 155. More just like, fuck it, I'm on a good run. I'll just move up because there's nothing going on at 145. And if I win this, I get to fight Khabib, right? And then I'll bulk up, right? Max Holloway against Dustin Poirier in that second fight, there's multiple times where he puts Poirier against the fence, rocks him, lands good combinations, is able to kind of tank some big shots from Dustin Poirier. I do think that his chin will be a little bit shoddy coming off the Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje fights. I definitely think at some point Dustin Poirier is going to rock him and kind of send him stumbling back into the fence, look for a big combo. But I just have to be honest about Dustin Poirier. His last performance, it's not necessarily that he looked so great, like, oh my god, man, Dustin Poirier still got... He's still great. He's still good. His takedown defense definitely improved. I don't think that's going to be a big factor in this matchup. Let's just be real here. His wrestling may come into this, but I trust Max Holloway to defend the grappling and get back up, as we've seen from him against really high-level guys, Ilia Topuria, Alexander Volkanovski, Brian Ortega trying to wrestle him. Even then, Max Holloway just gets straight back up, even if he gets taken down. Even against Dustin Poirier, there was a takedown early on. So I don't think that's going to be a big factor, but I do think when you rewatch the Islam Makhachev fight with Dustin Poirier, this guy is getting fucking old, man. This guy is literally turning into an unk before our eyes. You can say what you want about that fight. He tore his knee. He broke his nose. He got wobbled by Islam Makhachev. It was probably 3-1 Islam Makhachev going into that 5th round. One of the judges had it 2-2. God bless him. Okay? But most people rewatching that fight, Poirier did better than expected. I don't think he did that well that it's like, yeah, dude, Poirier's still fucking championship level. I think that he had a great performance against Islam Makhachev defensively in the grappling. He landed some big shots on the feet. He was ripping to the body. But for the most part, he did get boxed up. He did get outboxed. And I know that the wrestling threat was there, but Max Holloway is a great striker. And I think Max Holloway is going to be able to land elbows. I think he's going to be able to land knees in close. He looked good against Ilia Topuria. I thought he was winning that second round against Ilia Topuria. He has nice oblique kicks. I think that Max Holloway has shown some improvements defensively and offensively, especially with his power, mixing in the knees, the spinning back kicks to the body, the elbows. As we've seen against Gaethje, Topuria, Korean Zombie, Topuria, Korean Zombie. And I think against Dustin Poirier, the biggest thing is going to be the speed of Max Holloway and his defensive improvements and the fact that he can take the shots a little bit better at 155. He's going to be a bit bigger. He's going to hit a little bit harder. I'm going to say Max Holloway wins by late round TKO. I'm feeling a body shot, dude. I'm feeling a Max Holloway body shot TKO. I don't know why. I was saying before about my premonitions. When I picture this fight, I have a premonition of Max Holloway in close landing a body shot, rocking Dustin Poirier with a body shot. Poirier kind of stumbles back to the fence, covering up. Holloway just starts pouring it on, boom, 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 and the ref just steps in and stops it. I'm feeling like a Dustin Poirier back-to-back losses spells the end of his career in this retirement run. I do think Max Holloway is going to win this fight. I'm pretty sure he's the favorite. Most people would probably say by decision. I could definitely see that happening, but when I look back at all of Poirier's losses, a lot of them are by finish. And I feel like when you notice a pattern like that, you kind of have to continue it. You can't just mix it up because, you know, Max Holloway is more of a decision guy, but recently we've definitely seen an improvement in his ability to finish fights, land big shots, hurt people. We saw against Justin Gaethje, rocked him so many times in that fight. And I think he's going to look pretty similar against Dustin Poirier. I think that the time off from the Ilia fight, he was doing well in that fight as well. I know that the finish means that he got absolutely dominated, but if you actually rewatch the fight, he was doing very well against Ilia Topuria. And I think that against Dustin Poirier, who's going to be a little bit slower, a little bit less mobile, not really as fast, and just, I think, not really as tough and as durable. I think there's a lot more injuries on the Dustin Poirier side coming into this fight. And just in general, he looks in great shape, though. I don't think his cardio is going to be a problem. It's always going to be a hard fight for Max Holloway dealing with a solid defensive, hard-hitting boxer. But I think Max Holloway has improved enough and Dustin Poirier has gotten old enough where I think Max Holloway does win this third fight against him. But if he loses 3 to Dustin Poirier, bro, good job, UFC. You know what I mean? If he that's the last thing I'll say about this fight before I move on. With this fight, do you actually give a fuck about the outcome? Like, that's to me is annoying about Dustin Poirier's last fight, because I think that if he had fought Ilia Topuria, if he was fighting Justin Gaethje in the trilogy, there's genuine legacy on the line, right? For both sides. And with this matchup, if Max Holloway wins, yeah, but he lost twice to Prime Poirier. He just beat him when he was washed. If Poirier wins, he's retiring and Max Holloway's on a fucking 2-fight losing streak and he just got beat by some guy that retired. I don't really get what this does for the UFC. So it should be a banger. It should be a good fight, but I am a little bit disappointed in this card and in this main event. I do think Max Holloway gets that one done. All right, man. Co-main event, we've got Marvin Vtori versus Brendan Allen. How is that even a fucking question, bro? I'm going to win this fucking fight, dude. I cannot believe that Marvin Vtori is only 31 years old. It feels like this guy's like a throwback from 2008. It feels like Marvin Vtori already lost to fucking like Anderson Silva back in the day. I don't know how to explain it. It's just his like Neanderthal fighting style, I think, and just his caveman build. But I'm going to be picking Brendan Allen. I think Brendan Allen absolutely pieces up Marvin Vtori on the feet. He looked like fucking shit against Roman Dolidze. And I feel like if you're getting pretty cleanly outstruck by Roman Dolidze, you're not going to be a lasting contender in this division. I feel like Roman Dolidze's main role in this division is to fraud check people that should not be ranked, should not be in the top 10. And Brendan Allen, yes, he is a bit of a goofball. He won one round off Nasruddin Imavov. He almost finished Anthony Hernandez, who has a lot of momentum, who's on a very good run, who's one of the best up-and-coming contenders in this division. Brendan Allen was on an 8-fight win streak before that. I know that he had a competitive fight with fucking Chris Curtis and, Paul Craig, but he's been actively fighting consistently. He's a solid grappler. He has underrated boxing. He has pretty decent power in the hands. I think that with the hometown advantage as well, Brendan Allen's going to come in, get the win by decision. I think he's going to piece up Marvin Vtori. Marvin's going to be emoting. He's going to get angry. He's probably going to act like he got fucking robbed when he gets 30-27. I think this is kind of a no-brainer Brendan Allen pick. But to be fair, when you say no-brainer, Brendan Allen, dude, this kid might fucking randomly shoot a takedown and get submitted, knowing Brendan Allen. But I'm going to trust him to win this one just based on genuinely being more skillful, better, more consistent, more active than Marvin Vtori. I'm going to say Brendan Allen wins that one by unanimous decision. Like 30-27, maybe a 29-28 scorecard. Marvin acts like he got fucking robbed. I can really picture that, okay? Featured fight of the card. Again, I can't stress this enough. Genuine Gatekeeper versus Unk from Bellator. Featured fight of a fucking pay-per-view. Crazy work by the UFC. And like I said, the funniest thing to me is people defend these cards. There is genuinely, I bet you right now, if you scroll down to the comments, and this video has been up for a little bit, there's people fucking defending this shit. Dude, always fucking complaining about the cards, bro. Yeah. When the third biggest fight on the card is number 15 versus unranked Bellator old head, yeah. For $80 pay-per-view and you buy ESPN, that's fucking ridiculous. This is not some barn, dude, oh my god, man. Dan Eay Pitbull, dude, what a fucking scrap, man. Can't wait, bro. This is high-level UFC, man. Come on, dude. Come on, man. I will be picking Patricio Pitbull, though. I picked him to beat Yair Rodriguez via Bellator plot armor. At the end of the day, Yair Rodriguez, do I hate him? Yes. Do I want to see him slept out cold? Yes. Is he a solid top 10 contender? I would say yeah. I would say Yair Rodriguez would absolutely dog walk Dan Eay as well. I think he would beat Dan Eay by decision as well. And I think that the only reason to pick Dan Eay in this fight, because if you look at this on Tapology, it's kind of comical. 76% for Dan Eay. Are we fucking serious right now, dude? 76% for Dan Eay. I feel like I'm living in a simulation. Dan Eay is not that good, dude. He is not that fucking good, man. He beats people if they're not meant to be in the top 15. If you're not skillful enough to be in the top 15 or you're chinny, you're fucked. If you are talented and you are championship level in another organizer like Bellator, if you're Bellator champion level and you have a close fight with Yair Rodriguez, like in that third round, he's throwing up submissions and shit like that. He almost got an armbar against Yair Rodriguez. He has some good wins on the regional scene. Obviously, he beat Michael Chandler. I think Patricio Pitbull is good enough to beat Dan Eay. If he loses to Dan Eay, genuinely send him back to the BFL. But I think he beats Dan Eay. I think that he's going to be able to, utilize a real speed advantage. And honestly, I think a big grappling advantage is going to be the difference. I think when you look at Dan Eay's career, if you stay standing with him long enough for him to counterpunch you, he can land big shots. He does have a crazy chin. He's very, very difficult to rock and finish. Funnily enough, the closest I've seen someone come to hurting Dan Eay and finishing him was Movsar Evloev. But outside of that, I think you look back at the TKZ fight, you look at Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar was out wrestling this guy. TKZ fucking smudged this guy easily. I think Patricio Pitbull is going to take down Dan Eay, and I think he's going to win by decision. Maybe have some sub attempts. Maybe he gets rocked at one point on the feet, but I think Patricio Pitbull wins that fight. Yeah, these are my early predictions. I'm going to say Max Holloway body shot TKO like round 4 or 5. I'm going to say Brendan Allen masterclass decision. I'm going to say Patricio Pitbull smudges Dan Eay, but yeah, my overall thoughts are that this card definitely needs a real co-main event. I think you could look at this card if you added like a Diego Lopez co-main event, if you added fucking somehow Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane in the co-main, something, anything worth significance in their division as the co-main event, I think I would look a lot more like, you know, oh, you know what, this card ain't that bad, but it's really, really noticeable when you scroll down and one of the top 5 fights is fucking Neil Magny. That's how you know a card is not pay-per-view worthy. If Neil Magny is borderline fucking main card, come on, man. We need to step this shit up. These are my thoughts on UFC 318. These are my early predictions. Let me know your thoughts and predictions in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA, and I will see you guys in the next video, man. Goodbye.